Okay, hi everyone. Colleen Tuzek here from Visit Staten Island. It's been a long time no see. This is probably the first virtual live that we've done probably since the beginning of the pandemic. I want to welcome you all to National Travel and Tourism Week. So this is a very exciting week because, on Staten Island, we are the borough of parks. We are the unexpected borough. We have tons of things to see. We have over 20 attractions, museums, art galleries, and we hope, of course, everyone is safe and healthy at home. We continue to take all the necessary precautions to. Sorry, I have a first comment. This is very exciting. So I just want to welcome you all back. In celebration of National Travel and Tourism Week, we are doing kind of like a week-long celebration of bringing out some of our cultural partners on to talk about how they're welcoming visitors back safely. Of course, safety is probably the top priority for us. And of course, but also we want to hear about the fun stuff. So, a lot of our culturals, again, I want to give kudos to every cultural because they have provided content throughout the entire pandemic during the shutdown. And it's, of course, adapting all of these programs to a virtual platform is not easy. So I just want to give a little applause to them. So our first guest for today, I'm sure you saw the description, but we have some friends from Snug Harbor Cultural Center and Botanical Garden, which has never closed during this entire pandemic. And if you don't know about Snug Harbor, they have acres and acres of land. It is a park. They have museums on the park. They have tons of outdoor space. So again, it's a place that I know some people have gone to kind of unwind a little bit from the pandemic, a lot of the stress and emotions that came along with that. So I'm going to add to the stream. This is the first time I'm having a few, I have three this time. It's going to be me and my two other friends from Snug Harbor. We did speak, I think the first virtual live I did was with Eileen Fuchs, who was the CEO and president of Snug Harbor at the time. So I'm going to add my friends, Melissa West, you're live, and Puyan, you are live. Okay, guys, we're live now. So we did a practice run, everyone, just so we know. So, so thank you, Melissa and Puyan, for coming to the virtual live. I was telling everyone before that my first virtual live was with Eileen, who was the CEO and president of Snug Harbor. So it's really great to kick off National Travel and Tourism Week with the both of you. So let's just get right to it. I want everyone to learn kind of what's been going on at Snug Harbor. And so, Melissa, can you just tell me, or both of you, anyone can jump in, how do you plan to welcome visitors back safely? Because we all know that, people might not be comfortable or not vaccinated. So could you just talk a little bit about that?
Yeah, well, thank you, Colleen. I think it's worth mentioning, as you said earlier, that Snug Harbor never closed for the entirety of the pandemic. We've been a respite, with public space and beautiful natural outdoor space for people to meet up safely, to enjoy the outdoors, and really just to reconnect with nature. And so I think that, we've been kind of doing this for the last year. We've been really leaning into a combination of virtual and in-person programming, so that way we can reach as many people as possible, and realizing that there are varied levels of comfort and interest right now in being together and outside. So all that said, we've been kind of supporting artists and cultural programming throughout the last year. And we actually just recently reopened the Newhouse Center for Contemporary Art, which is Staten Island's oldest and largest gallery space, which is housed on the grounds of Snug Harbor. And we've been closed for the last year at the Newhouse, and we've been doing online programming. We launched an Instagram at the Newhouse Center where people can follow us and get to know what's going on. But we recently had our opening, and what we did, and this is kind of basically the way we're going to be doing things, I think, for a while, is a hybrid of indoor and outdoor festivities. And so people were able to come and hang out in Shinbone Alley, which is a pedestrian pathway with several different lawn spaces. And so people can come and hang out outside on the grass and maybe bring a blanket or catch up with friends, and then go and see the exhibitions inside. And for everything that we're doing indoors, like the Newhouse, we're monitoring and limiting capacity. And so for anyone interested in coming and checking out the galleries, you can sign up online and purchase advanced tickets. They're very inexpensive, $5 to see 2 exciting exhibitions. And so, trying to I guess pre-plan your visit is really the way to go this summer, and to really think about like how you want to come to the campus, how you want to engage with the campus, and just knowing that there's a variety of outdoor experiences. We have public art across the grounds, and yeah, we have these 2 really exciting new shows. But I want to give Puyan a chance to talk about some of the other stuff that's going on, and then I'll follow up with some virtual programming that we have as well.
Yes, please. All right, go ahead.
Yes. So hi, everyone. I'm Puyan. And so as Melissa had said, we wanted to make sure that people not only can come and experience the beautiful outdoor garden space, especially now with the coming of spring, we have all the beautiful pops of color with the flowers and flowers that are blooming. But with pre-planning, because there are a number of indoor spaces that they can see, we have things like timed tickets that can be pre-purchased for our Chinese Scholars Garden. Part of the way that we were addressing making sure that everyone was safe was reducing the capacity within our Chinese Scholars Garden. And now we have the timed tickets so that we can really monitor who's coming into the space and when. And then this allows for more people to enjoy their time in an efficient manner so that they can plan it ahead of time. We also, starting this weekend, really exciting, so many people have been calling about, we'll be having our plant sale. And so last year we had to do our plant sale pre-purchase, you came and pick it up. This year we're doing it a combination of the 2. You can pre-purchase your plants and then come to the site on May 7th or 8th to pick up your plants. But you can also come in person to look and purchase your plants. Friday, May 7th will be for members only, and then Saturday, May 8th will be open to the public. Starting on May 8th, we also have the first farm stand that'll be open to the public. So this is a really exciting day for everyone to come see the first harvest of our heritage farm, and that's from 9 to 2:30 p.m. And starting in June, we'll also be adding in Thursdays. So starting June 3rd, we'll be adding in Thursdays for another day that the public can come and purchase produce from our heritage farm. It's also where people can purchase their CSA shares, community supported agriculture shares, so people can invest in the farm and they get 20 weeks worth of produce. And so every Thursday they'll pick it up. Another way that we have outdoor celebrations on Saturday, June 19th, thanks to our Staten Island City Council members, and thank you to Con Ed for our Juneteenth celebration. We're in partners with a number of local Black and Brown community partners who are coming together to really create this wonderful site-wide celebration. And looking at it from the lens of making sure that we're in full safety, we're, always talking about following CDC, state and city guidelines, masking, social distancing, and also as we're talking to our community partners, making sure that each and every one of us are aware of how we can be the most safe and yet have this full, rich celebration. And we also have public tours coming up. So at the end of June, from the end of June to early September, we're still working on dates and making sure that we're putting it out there. Thanks to the Investors Bank Foundation, we have public programming that are happening on Saturdays. And these will be from our horticultural tours. You'll be able to tour the gardens. You'll be able to tour the farm. The Newhouse Center for Contemporary Arts is on the list, as well as historical tours. And those are public programs that people will be able to come and take tours with our dedicated educators, and we'll also have reduced capacity on those so that this way ensuring the public safety is first and foremost on our grounds. So yeah, so those are some of our major highlights coming through.
That's a lot of stuff going on. And I know Melissa, you wanted to add just something else, but I just want to say for Visit Staten, we, you both know that we rely on the culturals to, tell us what's going on so we can promote it to Staten Islanders and beyond. But of course, right now we're encouraging people to hashtag stay on Staten Island. Not that we don't want people coming, but just, to keep in mind the safety aspect of everything. So I had 2 questions, Puyan, for you. So when you say the CDC guidelines, so I'm assuming, I don't want to assume, that's why I want to ask you, that all of these events and Melissa, the ones you mentioned too, will have like masks, social distancing and all of that. I just wanted to confirm with the both of you.
Yes, so we require that if you're coming into one of our indoor spaces, if you're coming into one of our admission points, if you're in a space that has, that there's crowded areas, that you are then required to wear a mask. We're constantly looking at what the guideline changes are, because there's always the different, like the numbers will change or the distance, So we want to ensure that we are staying on top of following the guidelines, particularly as they're changing. We also then have on hand, so at each one of these points, we also will have extra masks, we'll have sanitizer, just in case, things can happen and your mask could break. And so we want to make sure that we also have supplies
Sure.
to help keep our visitors and our patrons safe as well. And then also with the numbers. So we want to, we're looking at if we're at 30% capacity or 50% capacity, wherever it is, and as it's changing. So like even within our New York Chinese Scholars Garden, where they say we should be at capacity, we're still a little bit below because we want to ensure that we're just being absolutely
no. And I want to say again, I really appreciate that because we're still, as we were talking offline before, the pandemic is not over. We have to respect people, whether they're vaccinated or not. We have to keep safety at the forefront. So thank you. And then I just wanted to go back, Melissa. I'll give you can jump right in after this. I really want to focus on the farm because I really don't think people know that Snug Harbor has a farm. I know you're both there every day, so and of course I know about it, and I do have a CSA, like full disclosure. But I think, can you just talk a little bit about the farm? Like, how did it get there? I hope I'm not asking anything that you can't say or you don't know, but I just think it's so interesting, isn't it? I don't know. Is that just me that thinks it's interesting that we have a farm on Staten Island?
Yes, no? And a lot of people are surprised because. A lot of people are surprised because you think within like the urban setting of New York City, we wouldn't have farms, but we actually do. So here on Staten Island, our heritage farm is 2.5 acres, which for most people to try to picture what 2.5 acres is, you picture 2.5 football fields. An acre is about the size of a football field. And we're actually the largest in production farm in New York City because there are other farms within the New York City boroughs. And then we use organic practices. So we want to make sure that not only can people pick up produce that is locally grown, but that it's also the healthiest and the most nutritious for you. So we use practices such as companion planting, which is making sure like you have, let's say your tomato next to your basil, let alone that they taste fabulous together. But the basil plants will actually, the scent from the basil plants will help to deter any pests that could then harm the tomato plants. We want to be doing that together. And then we don't have to use things like pesticides, chemical pesticides to help deter and keep those pests away. We also use compost. So we have compost drop-offs on Thursdays and Saturdays on our grounds. And then we use that compost to then help enrich the soil that is on the grounds. We do crop rotation, we do cover cropping. So we use all of these natural amendments. We have natural soil amendments to help keep the soil nice and fertile and nutritious. And we also have different engineering structures. So thanks to Con Ed, we have these polyhouses where we can actually start growing our crops way earlier than if you were just relying on growing them outdoors.
I didn't know that. That's really cool.
So we have 2 polyhouses, and one you can start seeds that are right in the ground, and the other one they start into seed trays, and then those seed trays will then get transplanted out into the actual farm once the conditions are right. And then we have a high tunnel. So if you've ever looked at our farm, we've got this big, looks like this big plastic tunnel out there, and that is another place where we can start earlier to have multiple growing seasons. And we can extend our growing season for way longer than if we were just outside. So that's why we're able to start our farm stand this Saturday.
I was going to say that's because, the season is usually a little bit later. Oh, that's, I always learn something new every day, believe me. And even though I've been doing this, 4 years now, that's very fascinating. And I just want to plug real quick. And then Melissa, I promise I'll give you your how many minutes you want now, because I've been postponing you for too long. But I just want to mention, we talked about it before, that the borough president announced this initiative called Get Your Garden On, encouraging people to grow their own produce and just learn like certain, take a crack at it. If it doesn't work, it doesn't work. But do you have those resources on your website? Like maybe like how to start your own garden or anything like that? Or maybe Grow NYC might have some tips.
So on our website, about this time last year, we started the Snug Harbor Discoveries at Home. And so we do have 2 videos. One is about how to grow your own, to regrow your own vegetable scraps. So if you take lettuce or celery, you can then grow your own from the produce that you already have. you can do that. And another one is about potato planting. So based on if you've ever had spuds that start to grow, if you ever have tomatoes that start, potatoes that start to grow like little roots, you can then use those to continue growing all the new potatoes. Otherwise, we do actually encourage people to come and volunteer on our grounds. So right now, every Saturday, we have volunteers, and anyone can sign up to volunteer on the farm, and you learn all of these techniques as you're learning and helping on our heritage farm. And then you can use those same techniques, and they're applicable for your own gardens. So we encourage people to come. You can get hands-on experience to learn, and then you can then bring it home with you. You can bring those techniques home.
That's amazing. Melissa, go ahead.
No, I want to go back to one of your questions about the origins of the heritage farm at Snug, because I think this is also a part of history that we don't always think about or know. So Snug Harbor, back when it was a rest home for retired sailors in the 19th century and early 20th century, had a farm. And so the heritage farm, when it was first developed, in, I would say around 2008, 2009, the idea was to kind of honor that legacy of sustainable land practices that were here at Snug Harbor and also on Staten Island, which has a history of kind of farm and pastoral rural culture, predating the mid 20th century. So I think sometimes we don't realize, because Snug Harbor is in a very densely situated area, and then Staten Island is so kind of it's fast moving. It's a part of New York City that we have a history of farming and food culture here that goes very far back, and so the heritage farm is very much a in response to that. So I just wanted to add that. And then I just wanted to say, I didn't mention the names of the exhibitions for the new house.
So yes, please.
Yeah, so we just recently opened Ghoul Friends, which is a new exhibition by Zoe Tirado, who's a local artist, and Jill Writes on Art and Poetics by Jill Bigetti. And there's going to be public programming around these exhibitions, and we have our very first community forum on May 8th, where we're inviting all artists and kind of creatives on Staten Island to come. We're going to be outside on Shinbone Alley. In the event of poor weather, we're going to do it on Zoom. So if you're interested in learning more about the art scene on Staten Island, how you can be involved in that, learning a little bit about the history and where you fit into that, please join us next Saturday at 2 p.m. And there's more information on our website. And then we're going to be doing a lot of in-person outdoor programming in dance, music, film over the summer. And so just stay tuned for that. And our website and our social media is always the place to find out more. And we also have some virtual partnerships coming up. We're going to be doing a live, we're going to be streaming a concert with the National Jazz Museum of Harlem, which is a fellow Smithsonian affiliate. So
I love that.
We're going to be doing programming with the Orchestra St. Luke's and the Five Borough Music Festival. So there's a lot going on online and on site. So snug-harbor.org is the place to kind of clue into all that.
I am so excited for the summer now. I just, like I said, the CSA and just being outside, that's just my thing. And but again, as the Borough of Parks, I always like to highlight that we have open space, and especially again, like you said, Melissa, Snug Harbor was a respite and still continues to be a respite for many people who just need to get out and just enjoy nature and, close by to their home. And again, we are the Borough Park, so we have over 100 parks. So that, more often than not, there's one close by to your neighborhood. And I just wanted to plug again for the new house, because again, I know there's all the museums on site and the Chinese Scholars Garden, but the new house, and I'm going to confess something. I'm never a huge, big art person. I love it. I appreciate art, but when you have, and Melissa, and this is again, applause to you, when you curate those exhibits in this beautiful building, I can't even explain the feeling you can get, because I think it's just it's just beautiful. I don't know how else to explain it. So I just want to say, so for those people who are not super interested in art, they're oh, I don't want to see an exhibition. That you have to go and experience the building around you, the history. And that's, again, Snug Harbor that's why, we call it our cultural campus, right? It's nature, history, art, and then music, dance. So I can go on and on. But I just want to say thank you. And for those of you who haven't been to Snug Harbor, or or like, I don't know, just go again. And Melissa, like, just go, it's fine. And all the tickets, like, you have to, and like you heard from our friends just now, they're either time ticketing or they're both, I think. Are they all time ticketing? I'm sorry, I don't know if I missed that for the new house.
It is time ticketing. We
Okay.
are still accepting walk-ups, but we encourage planning a day. And Saturdays, especially this spring, perfect time to do that. And I just want to point out that you have the New York Chinese Scholars Garden, which is just such a unique space. You have the Newhouse Center, which, as you said, Colleen, is just such a spacious, beautiful historical place for art. And then you also have the Staten Island Museum, the Staten Island Children's Museum, the Noble. So really, like, to come out here, especially in the beautiful weather this spring and summer, and think of it as like a day at Snug Harbor, I think is the best way to go.
Absolutely.
And one other thing, because you had mentioned before about staying local, because, if you think about it, like, tourism begins at home. If Staten Island local communities really, engage and explore all the places and the destinations that are on their own borough, that's a wonderful thing. And we actually have First Free Fridays. So the first Friday of every month within the New York Chinese Scholars Garden, Staten Island residents can have free access to the New York Chinese Scholars Garden.
Oh.
They do not have to pre-purchase the tickets. They just have to come with their ID. And that's thanks to our Staten Island City Council members. And so that's one of the perks of being on being a Staten Islander. And then from there, they can visit. They can go and visit the Newhouse Center for Contemporary Arts. They can, the other places that are there, and have it be a little less crowded than on a Saturday or a Sunday. And you can have more space to yourself and your family and your loved ones.
Yeah, absolutely. Oh, that's so. Oh, I'm so excited for this summer. And again, I'm not saying again. We're not, the pandemic's still here, but, we are, I feel like a lot of people are having a little more hope. The weather's getting nicer. And we need this. We need a good summer and a great one. And I know that Snug Harbor and all the amenities there can provide it. So do you want to add anything else before we close out? Maybe where they can find you mostly? Could you maybe share or the social media, just so people can, like and share and follow and all that fun stuff?
Absolutely. So the best way to learn more about all of these things, to find the dates, times, and more information, is to visit snug-harbor.org. That's the home base. That's our website. And then you can follow us on social media. We're on all the major platforms at Snug Harbor CCBG. And then the Newhouse Center has a new Instagram, and we'd love for you to follow us at the Newhouse Center on Instagram.
Great. Any last words?
That
sounded wrong. I meant anything you'd like to add? Oh, happy Monday.
My final word shall be,
Okay.
I just want to thank everyone who has been coming out, whether in person or online, to support Snug Harbor, because it really is due to our community, both local, city, national, it's due to the community in large, that we're here, and we really are pushing and striving to do more for our community members, because it's such a needed and valuable resource. And thank you. Come see us in person, online. We're here.
Yeah. All right. Well, thank you again, Melissa and Puyan, for taking the time. Like I said, I will, we'll share this out and make sure people know what Snug Harbor is doing. And to all those who are watching or haven't watched yet, please visit the Unexpected Borough of New York City. We're the Borough of Parks. And like I said, explore your local neighborhood, because we have tons to offer. Thank you again, everyone. And I'll see you soon.
Thank you. Bye.